guys, my name is Brittany and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to do a very special video that I have seen all over YouTube recently. I feel like it was a trend 2 years ago and then it recently started to come back, and I have been obsessed with them, and that's 10 things that I do not use anymore. Now, when I went to compile this list for you, I saw a lot of people going over those 10, and I was actually able to come up with 15 different beauty products that I no longer use, and I'm going to explain why and maybe why you shouldn't use them. Now, I just want to give a little disclaimer before we really get into this video, saying that just because I no longer use these products does not mean that these products don't work or that they can't work for you. However, they just don't work for my skin and the way that my skin is and what it reacts to, because I do have very sensitive skin. So the first thing that I no longer use is makeup primers. I feel like any makeup primer that I have ever used has pretty much performed the same, whether that be pore filling or mattifying or hydrating. I do use a lot of full coverage foundations, and I don't notice that my wear time on the face primers really work. However, I do always use eyeshadow primer, and I do think that that does work. It does make a difference in the way that my eyeshadow looks and lasts all day, and it is important to me. But for my skin type, I do break out all of the time. I used to have normal to dry skin in high school, and I never broke out, never really had pimples. And then into my adult years, as I got more hormonal issues, I started breaking out all over my face. And so I really had to customize my routine to something that was going to work for me now. Number 2 on my list is face palettes. Any kind of large face palette I no longer use. I have completely cut those out. I feel like a lot of times in those palettes you are wasting money because you are getting so many different colors that's not going to work for your skin tone. Specifically contour and blush palettes, I don't think that every single person who buys a contour palette or a blush palette is going to be able to use all of those. And I do feel like they're very bulky and they are hard to store, they're hard to travel with, and so for that reason I don't use them. I find myself using 1 or 2 colors and then just completely throwing the palette away, and to me that's really wasteful, so I don't buy them anymore. Number 3 on my list is cream blushes and contours. I have not been able to find a cream bronzer or contour stick or cream blush that really looks good on my skin tone. I also have like a foolproof way of doing my foundation every single time, and that's to set my face all over with powder. And using those cream products doesn't really make sense because once you set everything with powder, it's not going to show up. Now, if you're a person who really likes lightweight foundation or BB creams or tinted moisturizers, that might be something that you're able to do, but just for me, it doesn't look good on my skin tone. And I have heard on several different videos that people are kind of getting tired of these, or they no longer use these in their routine. And I think that I just bought into the hype on YouTube when they first came out and wanted that gorgeous glowy skin, but it just wasn't something that I was able to accomplish with those. And I actually find that if I use the cream contour sticks or bronzers, that my face ends up looking like I've put mud all over it, or just looks muddy, and I just don't like those products. Number 4 on my list is makeup wipes. Makeup wipes for me just don't work anymore. I have used them in the past to take off my makeup, and yes, they will remove your makeup. However, I felt like they were really breaking out my skin. A lot of those makeup wipes are scented, and then the way that they are packaged, they are sitting in moisture all the time, which can grow bacteria. And I've watched a lot of different skincare channels talk about them and how bad they are for your skin. So if you do have an unscented one that works for you, that's great. But for me, they do break me out, and I just don't like them in general. I've actually switched over to like a creamy type of makeup oil remover that you put onto your skin, and it starts off as like a waxy material and then it melts into an oil, and I think that that has helped to hydrate my skin, and it is unscented and it takes off my makeup perfectly, so I don't miss them. The next item on my list is cotton pads or cotton rounds. I used to use them to take off my makeup with like an oil eye makeup remover, and I would place it onto my eyes and wait a couple of seconds, and then I would be able to remove it. But with the cream that I use now, I don't need that. So it just melts it and I can just use my fingertips. I feel like they are very wasteful for our planet, and it's not something that I would use. I do have cotton rounds in my house for like medical purposes, but I don't use them anymore for removing makeup. And I also think there's a lot of great options, especially like on Amazon, for little washable cotton rounds that I really enjoy. I only have one at the moment and I use it to take off my makeup. It basically wipes off my makeup the first time that I use it, and they're amazing, and I did get an off-brand. There's also like a makeup eraser that they have out now, which is just like a cloth towel that you can use, and it's like microfiber, so it does take your makeup off quickly and easily. The next beauty item that I no longer use is tinted moisturizers, BB creams, and lightweight foundations. I unfortunately do have some acne scarring, some discoloration, redness on my skin, and those just do not look good to me. I feel like you can still see everything through it, which is basically what they're for. They're for like a lightweight coverage while keeping your skin very moisturized, and it is not something that I feel I get a lot of use out of. I think that they're very hyped up, especially on YouTube, but for everyday wear, I don't think people are just going to a BB cream or a lightweight foundation unless you have gorgeous skin, which if you do, congratulations to you, but I don't think that most people fall into that. The next item is matte foundations. I know that matte foundations were definitely super popular probably around 2 years ago because they just gave you that pore blurring effect and they made people's skin look flawless. My skin is a little bit too dry to be using any type of matte cream products such as foundation. I feel like every single time that I use them, I look cakey, my skin looks dull, and I really do like that hydrated, glowy look. So I tend to lean more towards like a satin finish, something that's not gonna have my face look oily by the end of the day, but it's also not gonna suck all of the moisture out. I also think that matte foundations definitely have a tendency to make people look older because it does settle into fine lines and wrinkles. So if you are someone who has those, I don't recommend that to you either. But another thing that I definitely do not use anymore or purchase anymore are eyebrow products. The reason being is I have tried the brow gel in the little pots that you get, and that didn't work out well for me. I have tried eyebrow pencils, the ones that you sharpen, which if I was going to choose one, I would probably choose that. I've tried the fine point, like roll-up pencils. I've tried the thicker roll-up pencils, and I feel like I'm accomplishing the same look using all of those products. Like, it really doesn't matter what I have, I'm still getting the same look of eyebrow. So for me, the best choice is just to use an eyeshadow that is about the same color as my natural hair is, and just add a little bit more definition to the shape that I already have. On my last video, which I will link up here, I did mention that I think that highlighter is kind of on its way out. It's crazy because for the past couple years, highlighter has continued to be hyped up, and I don't think that bright metallic highlighters look good on everyone. So for that reason, The next thing that I don't purchase anymore are super metallic highlighters. However, I still use highlighter on a daily basis. I've just switched to more of a nude highlighter. I love the Nude Essence highlighter. I think that that looks gorgeous. It's about $3 or $4 and it always looks flawless on almost everyone's skin tone that I've seen it on. The next item that I no longer use is colorful eyeshadow palettes. Now, I do like some colors, especially because I do have this YouTube channel and I like to try out different things for you and create different looks. But on an everyday basis, and a lot of times I'm sure you can see in my intros and my outros, I normally just wear like nude colors, and I have two nude palettes that I love. And really colorful, cool toned eyeshadow does not look good on my skin tone. I always have to end up mixing like gold or orange to try to like warm it up a little bit. I think that those colors are very harsh, and I feel like if you don't have a really dark skin tone or a very fair skin tone, those are really hard to pull off. And I think that a lot of people fall in that in between like I do. So that's not something that I enjoy wearing. And I just feel like it's not worth my money to buy something to do one YouTube video and then to throw away. I think that's a little bit wasteful. So I don't purchase those anymore. Another item that I no longer use, and this is why I wanted to do 15 because I don't really feel like this is necessarily makeup, but I don't use nail polish. I used to be one of those girls that had like a ton of nail polish, and I had all these shades of pink and mauve pinks and reds and different bright colors. And when I seen nail polish go on sale, I'd buy every single color, but I never used nail polish. I feel like it's such a pain in the butt to wait for it to dry, and I've tried fast drying and I always end up messing them up as soon as I've painted my nails. And I think with the world being the way that it is with COVID and everything being shut down, a lot of people are rocking their natural nails lately, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. On occasion, I will paint my toenails if they're going to be out, but I don't do that very often. Or if I'm going to like some really dressy event, I will go out and get those little press on nails, and I think that they work just fine for that night, and then I will pop them off the next day. So for me, that's just a waste of my money, and it's actually really not good for your nails. The next thing that I no longer purchase are fake eyelashes. I will say on occasion when like I'm having photos done or I'm going to like a banquet or something, I will get false eyelashes, but they will be like those magnetic lashes where you have the magnetic eyeliner and then they just go straight on. I am not good at applying fake eyelashes. They always end up falling off. They're such a hassle, and I really recently have found a lot of drugstore mascaras that I'm pleased with and I feel like work for me. You may see me put ones on when I do like elaborate looks on this channel. However, it's not something that I purchased. It might be something that I get in a box coming up or that someone has given to me, but I don't think that they're worth your money. I think mascara is just fine. I think a lot of them look extreme, and I really don't like the look of them. I also was a person who got my eyelashes done. I had the eyelash extensions, and I did this probably around 8 years ago, and it ended up pulling out all of my eyelashes. Like, I had barely any eyelashes left. Of course, at the time I was younger and broke, and I went to a nail salon. Yes, a nail salon to get my eyelashes done, and I paid around $30 to get them done, and they used nail glue. And it pulled out every single one of my lashes. So I think that going with your natural lashes is just fine, and it's no longer something that I feel the need to spend money on. Another makeup item that I no longer use, actually it's a makeup tool, is I no longer purchase those like big brush packs. I used to do that all the time. Like when I needed new brushes, I would just throw away mine and then go get another huge brush pack. However, they are so wasteful. Like 9 times out of 10, you're not going to use every single brush that comes in the pack, and you're at least going to have one or two brushes that you don't like. I think that you should invest in the brushes that you want. I mean, there's a lot of drugstore and affordable brushes out there, such as the ColourPop brushes. The e.l.f. brushes are great. That you can get, the Morphe brushes are good to substitute some of those really expensive brushes, like the Sigma brushes that are unaffordable for your average person. So I don't purchase large brush packs. Basically, if I need a new eyeshadow brush, I will go out and purchase the one that I want. And if I need a new foundation brush, I will just purchase that one, because buying packs is super wasteful and you end up spending so much more money. Plus, all of your brushes are probably not going to fall apart at the same time. You might use things like your eyeshadow brush more than you use your foundation one, and you should just buy them as needed and not in huge packs, because it is wasteful. The last two items that I have for you basically go hand in hand. One is, and I know that you guys are going to be shocked about this because I actually have an aesthetics degree. Well, sort of. So I graduated with my aesthetics degree. I did a program and I graduated about 10 years ago. I never finished my state boards. I did pass the physical one, I just didn't do the written one. It wasn't the path that I wanted to take. So I know how important skincare is, but for my skin, I cannot use a lot of skincare products. So one thing that I don't buy is exfoliants, masks, treatments, spot treatments, eye creams, any of that I no longer use on my face. I have, like I said, very sensitive skin. I have dry spots and oily spots, so it's combination skin with a lot of different skin issues. And I feel like you can use like a spot treatment with mask. However, every single time that I use masks, they're either like overly hydrating and my skin doesn't feel that great afterwards, or they're purifying, so they're pulling every single thing out and I'm breaking out all over the place. And I just don't feel like it's necessary for me. I know that a lot of people get use out of it, but for my skin, it breaks me out. And so I've actually cut everything out except for my oil remover that I talked about earlier in the video, my face wash that I use every single night. And I do recommend that you use a makeup remover and a wash. Like, you need to double cleanse your face, especially when you're doing full coverage foundations, because it is really bad for you. And then I have a moisturizer, and I don't even use the moisturizer all the time because the type of face wash that I use, I mean, it's just like your average brand from Target. So that does enough hydrating for me that I don't even need moisturizer. I have tried like the It Cosmetics moisturizer and I religiously use that, and my skin did feel very plump and it felt good. However, I continued to break out, and I think that's because of what I'm about to say next. The last thing that I no longer use are scented products on my face. Now, I love scents and strong scents, and I use like super strong wax warmers or wax pods. I use strong candles. I use strong perfume, strong hair smelling stuff, but I cannot put scents on my face. If something is heavily scented, it will break me out like an insane amount. Like, I've gone to bed with clear skin and maybe like one or two pimples and woke up with over 20 pimples from putting something on my face that had a bad reaction with my skin. Like I said, that's kind of custom to me. I want to say you should never, ever use an entire skincare line that is heavily scented, because that is so bad for your skin. And if you do the research and you look it up, I promise you it's not good for your skin. It's okay in small amounts, such as like using a scented cleanser because it's washing straight off your face, but something that you're gonna leave overnight or leave on your face it is not okay, and it will break you out and it will give you bad skin, and it might look good right now, but later on down the road it will hurt you. So I have cut those out. So that was my 15 things that I don't buy anymore. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this type of video. I know it's different from what I normally bring you, but I have really been craving the chance to get to talk to you guys. A lot of times when I'm doing tutorials, I have to cut out the bits and pieces where I'm being more personal, because I want to keep these videos short for you as something that you can watch as a quick video, especially while my channel is still growing. I don't want to turn people away with too long of videos. So I enjoy just getting to sit down and talk to you all. And if you like this video, leave me a thumbs up. Go down below and comment and tell me what you're not using. What are some things that you don't buy anymore? What are some things that I shouldn't buy anymore? Because I would like to know. And I'm sure in a couple years, all this stuff will change. I mean, 2 years ago, I would have told you I'll never use sparkle eyeshadows anymore. And here I am wearing it right now. And I think that it looks great. So we'll see how it changes. I would like to do these probably every 6 months to a year, just to see like how makeup's changed and what I like and don't like. But don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out and hit that notification bell so that way you can be notified every single Friday whenever I post on all things beauty. And that's it for today. I will see you in my next video.